These last 4 days have been the scariest of my entire life. I nearly died. To all my friends that have been calling me and texting me for this past week and I've not been getting back to either on Discord or in real life, I'm sorry. This video should clear up everything. I was in Hawaii with a friend of mine. We like to travel a lot and get some sunlight because over here in Michigan, Detroit, it's always cloudy, it's always cold. So we like to go out and get some sun. I start to feel like I have seasonal depression during these months, so I feel like traveling kind of does help me out with that. Now, on this trip, we went to Hawaii. It's very, very far, like a 13-hour flight total. And when we landed, it was like 7:30 p.m. by the time that we got all checked in and set. 7:30 p.m. Hawaiian time, which was like 12 or even 2 a.m. in Detroit time, I think. And when we landed, we realized that all the stores close at 7 p.m. We're at this hotel. We're sitting down by ourselves with no water, no food, nothing. Like to even get a bottle of water in Hawaii costs $7. So we're sitting in this hotel starving to death. Like we needed food as soon as possible. We would eat anything from anywhere at this moment. And we're looking for all the restaurants and they're all closed. Every single grocery store, every place to buy food, every place to buy any form of grocery was closed, except the bars. And we obviously don't drink, but there was a bar that had a pizza kitchen in it at the same time. It was a bad situation. It was called Hideaway's Pizza Hub. We were in Lihue, Hawaii. And we had no other choice but to go to this pizza hub. And we went there, we got pizza, we came back and ate it. And after we ate the pizza, we knocked out, went straight to sleep. The very, very next morning, I woke up and I immediately knew I made the biggest mistake of my entire life. I had horrible food poisoning. My stomach was turning and twisting. By 6 a.m, I was throwing up everything that I've ate, and every part of me just felt like it was deteriorating. I was horribly poisoned. And it wasn't normal. It wasn't like I would get over it in 6 to 12 hours, really quick, it's done. Like this was, I don't understand what kind of bacteria these guys had in their kitchen, how long they left their cheese out, how disgusting their work environment is. But it was the worst food poisoning I've had in my entire life. If I tried to drink water, if I was literally just drinking water, even a small sip, I would throw it up within 5 minutes of drinking it. The water and everything that I ate would sit in my upper abdomen and it wouldn't go down and I couldn't digest anything. No food, no water, no electrolytes, no coconut water, no Pedialyte. Nothing that I drink would go down. And I thought this would blow over in just a couple of hours. It kept on getting worse. After maybe the 7th or 8th time that I threw up, I knew that there was no going back. Like I was in some really, really deep shit. So the 7th time that I threw up, I finally went back to the bedroom and I'm sitting there and I lay my head back, and this must have been like at 4 or 5 p.m. Now this is what, like 16 hours with no water, with no drinks. I'm laying back on the bed and I fall asleep. Now, this is really scary because I didn't sleep because I was tired or because it was a long flight. I fell asleep because I was severely dehydrated. Couldn't put any liquids down in the hot island of Hawaii. I couldn't drink anything. And I wake up 30 minutes later after falling asleep and my body is on fire. I was overheating way too fast. My skin was boiling. So I ran to the bathroom and I'm again throwing up. I'm trying to drink some water, pour some water on me, do anything just to cool off. And after I sit back down, I just kind of give up at this moment because I couldn't even lift my arms. I had no energy at this time. I start calling for my friend. I tried to tell him, yo, come into the bathroom, come take me out of here, yo. And I'm calling him over and over with the faintest of my voice. I couldn't even scream how dehydrated and tired I was. So he finally hears me and he comes in. He's like, yo, did you call me? And he sees me on the floor. He's like, yo, Alex, get up, bro. Alex, yo, come on. What the hell's going on? Alex, get up. Let's go. And he's trying to lift me up and he's trying to like hold me and talk to me and make sure that I'm still staying sane. And as I'm looking at him, I was hanging onto his shoulders, and he's a medical student, so he knows the signs of when someone's about to really pass out. And I was hanging onto his shoulders and I'm squeezing as hard as I possibly could. And I'm trying to stay balanced and I'm looking at him and he's screaming, Alex, stay awake. Alex, yo, are you good? Alex. And he was just trying to keep on talking to me and asking me questions. And I'm holding onto his shoulders and I slowly start to see everything go very, very blurry. And before I know it, from my perspective, I'm looking at him. Everything gets blurry for a couple of seconds. Close my eyes. And now for some reason, I'm on the floor. I'm on the floor and he's on top of me crying and he's screaming, Alex, wake up, wake up. He's literally doing chest compressions on me because I was unconscious. And I wake up and I'm like, what the hell's going on? He was literally like compressing my chest really hard, but I didn't even feel it. I couldn't feel anything at that moment. And he's crying, and he has tears coming out of his eyes, and he's, Alex, get up, bro, let's go. I'm gonna call the ambulance right now. I'm calling 911 right now, bro. Get up, please, man, please. And I'm thinking in my head, like, what's going on? Why is he screaming at me? Why is everything happening so fast? I was so confused. I had no idea what was happening to me. And as I got up, I took a deep breath of air. The same second that my eyes opened up, I took a deep breath of air, and I'm looking at him, and he's literally carrying me on his shoulders, taking me towards the sink to cool me off, because at this point I'm still really, really hot. I'm all red, my face is overheating, and he's putting me under the sink and putting cold water all over my face and my hair and everything, and he's calling 911. They said they'd be there in about 10 to 15 minutes. And then after that, he calls, and as I'm still putting ice all over my body and everything cold that I can find on me, I hear him in the back of my head. I was literally submerged in water just to cool off. But I hear him in the back of my mind. I hear him saying, calling up my doctor, like my primary care physician in Detroit. I hear him calling his personal phone number, saying, "Hey, Alec just passed out. Like, it's really, really bad." And they're going back and forth. And I hear my friend saying, I lifted Alex's legs over his chest and I started doing chest compressions on him. And I said, "What? When did that happen? You lifted my legs up so that blood can obviously flow back to my organs. When did that even happen?" And when all of that hit me all at once, I immediately started crying. Tears started rolling down my eyes. I realized that I was gone for a long time. In my head, I just closed my eyes, opened them back up, and that's it. That's all that happened. But at that moment, I realized that I passed out. I was totally gone. I was not in possession of my body whatsoever. And at this moment, my arms, I'm trying to get as deep, explain exactly what this felt like as deep as possible. When I was waking up, everything was blurry. There was loud ringing in my ears, and my arms were like a stinging, sleeping pain. Like if you sleep on your foot, for an example, when it falls asleep, there's like that little sharp pain and you feel like it's kind of numb. Both of my arms felt like that. They both felt very, very numb. And at this moment, they started to feel that shocking pain as if blood was flowing back into my arms. I'm not sure what this could have meant. Maybe the blood was leaving my extremities to go to my organs. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. But when all this hit me at once, I immediately started crying. I looked up and I said, "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah." I know I've been keeping that from you guys for a long time, and it feels really good to let you know. But alhamdulillah, I started praying to God. If those are my last words that I was going to say, that's what I wanted to say for the last breath that I took. I thought my life was over at that moment. But eventually, thank God, by the will of God, I cooled my body down. I was okay for the moment, even though I couldn't drink anything and I was still severely dehydrated. Face was super pale, and my hands were all white. There was no blood at all in my hands. If you pressed on my fingernail, there was no. I'm not sure how that works, but there was literally nothing in my hands at all. The paramedics come. Super horrible healthcare. They weren't even there with the ambulance at all. They just came with like 3 guys pulled up in like a regular car. And they were holding little bags on them, and they asked me, "Are you okay? Can you walk? Can you stand? What's your first name, last name, this and that? How old are you? Did you guys have any drinks last night?" I looked at him, I said, "Man, I haven't drank in my entire life." And he starts to walk us outside of the building. He walked me out. I walked by myself, like literally. After fainting and passing out, they made me walk by myself. They didn't even have a stretcher or nothing for me. So eventually we're standing outside in the heat after I passed out, and then the ambulance arrives like 5 to 7 minutes later. At this moment, I'm sitting in the back of the ambulance, and they're talking like, "How do you feel?" They're taking my blood pressure, the thing that goes on your arm. They're taking my blood oxygen from my finger, and they took my blood sugars by hitting me with like the little diabetic thing that like nicks your finger. They can test your blood. The scary part about this was that I was talking to the paramedic, and when he nicked my finger to get a blood sample, he asked me, he said, "Did you feel that?" And I was like, Feel what?" I looked at him, and he looks at me, and then I look back down at my finger, and my finger was obviously blood because he cut a hole in my finger to take some blood to sample. He looks at me, he goes, "Uh-oh, that's not good." I said, "What do you mean that's, oh shit, I have no feeling in my hands." And when I realized this, I started to panic a little bit. I started to try to like push blood flow back into my hands, started to move my arms around. I was that dehydrated. I couldn't even feel him cut my finger. That's how bad it got. Now at this moment, they're like, "Okay, you probably need an IV like really, really bad since you can't drink anything. We could take you to the hospital, but just to let you know, that's going to be like, at minimum, just for driving you there is going to be a $2,000 charge. Like we're gonna have to charge you $2,000 for coming to you and picking you up and taking you there. So do you guys have a car at all?" We're like, "No, we don't got a car. We don't got nothing. The Ubers in this island suck. There's barely any of them. So we don't got any other option, man. Like what can you do? Please help us out." My friend's like, "Listen, doesn't matter. Take him to the hospital. Bill doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter. We have to take care of this guy right now. Forget the money." And then the guy's like, "I mean, he looks okay. If you guys want, we can go right now." I said, "I mean, I'm kind of fine right now." He says, okay, what I'll do is this. Please don't tell my boss. I can get in trouble for this, but I'll take you guys. We'll go stealth mode. I'm not going to charge you for this. I'll take you guys to the nearest urgent care, and they can take care of you for a fraction of the cost. I said, okay, let's try that out. We go to this urgent care. It looked like it was an apartment building / house. It did not look like in a first world country urgent care, so I was a little bit worried about the healthcare. I finally get into a room, and after 20-30 minutes, I see the doctor. It was a nurse practitioner, and she walks in. She takes my vitals. She asks me how I'm doing, and in the meantime, when I was waiting for her to come in, I called my doctor, and I called a different doctor from Detroit, and I asked them, what should I do? They said, you need an IV, like 100%. You need an IV. If you barely have feelings in your in your extremities, right? If you're super dizzy, bro, my kidney was killing me. My kidney was hurting. So the lower back of the lower left of my back was painful at this moment. That's how you know that I'm severely dehydrated. And at this moment, I needed an IV. Like anybody, a doctor, a brain surgeon, or literally any human being that knows nothing about medicine whatsoever can tell you this guy needs to get an IV. So I tell this to my nurse practitioner that was there at the time, and she goes, I don't think you need one. I looked at her, I said, yeah? Oh yeah, my fucking boy. I don't need an IV. Look at me. I'm literally about to die right now. I haven't drinking anything in 24 hours. My face is pale white. I can't feel my fingers, and my kidney is killing. I don't need an IV, right? Yeah? That's a good choice of yours? She was like, yeah, I don't really think that she need one. I was like, can I call my doctor? She goes, if you want to. She seemed really pissed off that I was calling my doctor because I thought that she wasn't good enough, which she wasn't. So I called my doctor, and he was like, yeah, you're really dehydrated, and an IV would definitely help you out. And you should probably also take some Zofran for the vomiting so that you can actually like stomach foods and water, and you won't actually pass out from dehydration again for the second time. And then he hangs up. And she goes, okay, well, if you want an IV, you can just go to the emergency room. Like in a really cocky, mean, condescending voice. She goes, yeah, just go to the emergency room if you guys want an IV. What did I say, my boy? I'm literally at your mercy. I'm at your mercy. You can tell me to go for myself, and I definitely will, because I have no other option. I have nobody else to help me. I'm on a fucking island by myself with nobody to help me at all. You're telling me go to the emergency room? In what fucking car, my boy? In what car? Who gave you your medical license? Anyways, she doesn't give me the IV at all. And she goes, I'm going to write you a prescription for Zofran, or for sublingual, I think it's called Zofran. You put it under your tongue. It goes right into your bloodstream through under your tongue, and you don't have to even swallow it. You should be okay. Just drink some water, call it a day, small sips, bye-bye. Basically what she said. Just prescribe me a pill and tell me to go on my way. I'm about to die right now. I'm literally on my last breath. She goes, yeah, just take this pill and go out. In what car do I pick up medication? I need something to save me right now. Anyways, I have my friend. He was still sick from the pizza as well. He wasn't nearly as sick as I was. He goes for a run maybe a mile out to grab the medication, and he runs back. Super hot in Hawaii. He was sweating. He nearly fainted grabbing me the medication. I take it, put it under my tongue. I'm sitting in the office. He buys me a Pedialyte, and I'm drinking small sips for the next hour. And during this hour, we're looking for a ride back to the hotel. The urgent care is going to close in maybe 30-40 minutes, and I don't got a ride back to the hotel at all. So we're taking small sips, obviously, to drink something. You know how if you're wearing a mask, you have to lower the mask because your mouth is being covered? Obviously, you can't drink something wearing a mask unless there's some new patented crazy breakthrough idea that I've never seen before in my life. So I'm sitting there drinking. And the lady at the front desk, who was also looking for a taxi for us, we called literally every taxi in the entire island. Nobody could come. We had no rides whatsoever. She saw that there was these two young men, right, technically homeless because they couldn't go back to their hotel, super sick, dehydrated, can barely mouth down any liquids, and is on medication. She looks at us and says, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you guys to leave. I looked at her and I said, no. She goes, yeah, I'm sorry, you guys have the mask down and everything. You guys can't be in here without having a mask on properly. I looked at her and I said, it's because my mask? She said, yeah. I said, no. And I just went back to just drinking my water. I was so dehydrated, I couldn't even think. I wasn't even going to argue with her. I just said, no, I'm not leaving. And I kept on drinking. If she set me outside in the Hawaiian heat, right, super dehydrated, trying to mouth down some Pedialyte after taking some Zofran, she's out of her fucking mind. No logic whatsoever. How do you do that to another human being? And at this moment, I'm drinking slowly, sip by sip, just trying to not die. So I'm praying in my head, God, my Lord, please ease her heart. Please change her mind. Please let us find a taxi home. Let us find a ride home. Please let me get out of here safe. And I swear to God, I swear, I kid you not, the lady at the front desk goes from not being a fan of us, kicking us out of the place, to After maybe about 5-10 minutes later, she goes, all right, you guys, the ride is here. I said, what? She goes, yeah, I found you guys a ride. She was like, follow me. I was like, I looked at my friend like, what the fuck just happened? And she walks us outside of the building and she points out a car. She goes, yeah, get in this car in the back. Those are my parents. I looked at her. I said, God bless your heart and soul. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this for us. May the Lord bless you forever. And I'm walking away. I'm looking at my friend like, there's no way she just took care of us like that. We were at literally the mercy of anybody that could help us. We had no choice what to do whatsoever. And the lady that goes from not wanting anything to do with us and kicking us out of the urgent care calls her mom and dad to come take us home. I don't know what changed her mind. Me and her had no dialogue after the little argument. We had no dialogue. And somehow, some force made her feel like I have to take care of these kids. And thank the Lord that she did. So we get back home, we get to the hotel, and I'm sitting there just drinking my Pedialyte, and I immediately burst into tears and I start crying. I was very grateful to be alive at that moment. I felt so happy that I was finally okay and that I can sit down and I can feel comfortable knowing that I'm not dehydrated anymore. My friend looks at me, he goes, yo, Alex, I'm booking us home tomorrow. We can't stay here any longer. This island feels like a prison. I'm getting really anxious. I'm sweating. Under his arms were all sweat and everything. He's like, we got to get out of here, bro. I said, no problem. Change the flights. Let's go home. Earliest flight you possibly can find. Let's do it. Earliest flight was at midnight the next day. Or no, sorry, it was at 10 p.m. the next day, which was super late for us because we're still on Detroit time. And we get to the airport 15 hours early. Like literally 15 hours early. We just sat down and just waited for our flight because we were so scared that we would miss it. We did not want anything to do with this island whatsoever. We just wanted to go home. So we waited in there for 15 hours. Finally, we get our bags checked in. We get onto the airplane. And as we're in the air, I'm thanking God, thank you, God, for letting me go home. I can't take this any longer. I just need to see my mom. I need to see my dad. I have to just be with my family. All I want right now is my family. I don't care if it's cold in Detroit. I don't care if it's dark. I don't care if it's cloudy. I don't care if it's freezing cold. I don't give a shit. I just want to be by my family, and I will appreciate the cold for the rest of my life. I went on that trip so I can cure my seasonal depression. Boy, did that trip cure my seasonal depression. But if you thought that was it, no, it's definitely was not it. 46 minutes into the flight. 46 minutes into the flight from the island over the Pacific Ocean towards Los Angeles, which was our connected flight back to Detroit. 46 minutes in, if you can see on the screen of the airplane, it shows you like where the plane is at. The airplane turns around. The pilot turns around in the middle of the ocean and turns backwards. My friend notices this. I'm knocked out. I'm drained. I'm tired. I'm just laying back sleeping. He starts shaking me. Alex, get up. Alex, get up right now. What the fuck's going on? He goes, bro, look. He points at the screen. The airplane went off route. The airplane that I was in went off route. The pilot didn't even say a word. It turned around and it was driving the wrong way. Now, I start sweating. I get an anxiety attack. My heart starts racing. What's going on? We're 35,000 feet in the air and we're going the wrong way. Finally, after a minute or two, we're looking around. I swear to God, the first time in my life, the cabin crew, the lady that was working, the flight assistant, I forgot the name of him, she was sitting down. She was sitting down on her seat, praying to her Lord. She was mouthing words like this. She was praying to her Lord. A lady that was working in the cabin crew. She was praying to God. I said, oh, we're going to die today. This is it. It's over. Now I start praying to God thinking, okay, this is really it this time. I thought that was bad. Now we're actually going to die. And after about a minute or so, after being super anxious, after everyone starting to like look around and like ask questions, the pilot goes, hey guys, we got a non-emergency turnaround. I'll see you guys, taking you guys back to Honolulu, Hawaii. So now the pilot turned around and he's taking us back to a different Hawaiian island. Like we can't catch a break out of these islands. And that's all he says, and he just hangs up. When they say it's a non-emergency turnaround or a non-emergency thing, in the air, it's a fucking emergency. There's no such thing as a non-emergency when you're 35,000 feet in the air at the mercy of a pilot, right? There's no such thing. Yeah, we're just saying that so that nobody freaks out, nobody gets anxious. Now I'm just praying, I'm hanging on for dear life. I said, you know what? If this is my time, so be it. Just take it. I can't take this anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. I was praying. I just said, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel this form of anxiety or pain any longer. Now, luckily enough, we made it back and we landed. And the pilot comes up to the front and he says,
uneventful landing. Again, it wasn't an emergency. We have fuel indication problem is what we had. We couldn't go all 5 hours across the Pacific with not knowing exactly how much gas was in the tank. So it was coming off and coming on. So we could figure out how much we were going to land with as far as the weight. This rarely happens. This is the first time I've had this happen to me in 25 years. flying for Delta Airlines. So
The pilot says, I haven't experienced this in 25 years. The fuel meter of the plane was broken, so the light kept on coming on and we couldn't tell how much fuel we had left in the tank.
Nice ladies here to get you rebooked. They do have hotels for everybody. Right now the airplane's going out of service. They will let you know how you're going to be rebooked. This airplane will probably be flying tomorrow afternoon. Whether we fly it or not, we're not sure. But we are not going tonight.
Now the very next day, we finally get back on the flight. We get to the airport. We go from Honolulu, Hawaii to Los Angeles to Detroit. We barely missed the Detroit flight. And finally, when we land back in Detroit, our designated driver that was supposed to pick us up at the airport got into a car accident. He literally got into a car accident coming to pick us up. We really could not catch a break after this, after all this has happened to me, after literally being blacked out, not feeling my limbs, not feeling my arms, being severely dehydrated, having pain in my kidneys. I finally made it back to Detroit, Michigan, the cold city, full of clouds, the place where I had seasonal depression just last week and I was not feeling the best of myself. Right now, I look outside, I'll literally walk outside shirtless and just take in all of the freezing cold, all of the clouds, give me all the snow, all the bad weather. I'll take any of it. After feeling that, after experiencing how bad things really could get, and just getting a little glimpse of what it felt like to starve, to dehydrate for the first time in my life and be in the middle of nowhere with no family, people live like that. People literally have that life, and we look at everything that we have as torture and pain. All we got is luxuries. Trust me, believe me. If you got your family, if you got your parents, if you got a roof, if you got food, you got nothing but luxuries. And now I've truly realized that. I always thought that I knew that in the back of my mind, but you won't ever truly know something until you experience the opposite of it. That's why it's okay to make mistakes. And that's why the law of polarity exists, so that we can make the mistakes and then truly realize why this side is so much better. Thank God for this entire trip. It changed my life. It made me who I am today. It really changed my outlook on everything of my life. I never look at my parents, my family, my house, the freezing cold, the bad weather. Every disaster I think I have on this land was nothing compared to what I felt over there. I felt my life leaving my body. I lost control of my limbs. My nervous system shut down. And after feeling how truly fragile life is, never will I appreciate it more. Thank you for watching this video. Stay dreaming, stay lucid. I'm out. Peace.